yeah, it's not very stable. Hello everyone, and welcome to this video where I'm going to showcase my very first ever Stormworks creation. This is something that I created that has never been in the Steam workshop. It's pretty much where I learned to build, and the lessons that I learned building this ship carry on in all of my creations since then. As some of you may know, I do create a lot of vehicles for Stormworks. I have 147 as of now, including small vessels, big vessels, helicopters, submarines, and everything in between. So that's why when I show this boat, it's funny for me because I've learned so much since then, but a lot of my lessons came from this. Now, as some of you may picked up and what I showed in my other videos, is that I am an engineer, and I have experience in coding and that type of thing, but I'm a structural engineer. So what I usually do is buildings, bridges, and that type of stuff. So I'm not quite in the mechanical world, which involves engines and this type, or in the computer engineering world, which involves programming, but I do that as a hobby, so I do enjoy it. But that said, it took a lot of time and lessons, and even my skill that from university, where I took courses in different types of engineering, including computer engineering. So everything's shown. Anyways, back to this vessel. As you could see right away, it's very flimsy, like it's not very stable. And that's because I didn't quite balance the center of gravity properly. And also, it has no active or passive stability control in it. Now, before I started building lots of creations, I did end up playing a lot of hours just using this boat and going around and saving people and doing missions. So I learned kind of the key things needed for a vessel and things that I liked putting, such as these spotlights under the water, and here diving lights. So if you do go under. Now there's 3 decks on this ship, or this boat. There's the top deck, which you could steer from. There's the main deck in the middle, and then the bottom has a small cabin and a little engine room. Now this boat was able to start in the starter base, so that's, I didn't realize there was the I thought it was only career mode, so I'd actually only play in career mode and with this vessel. So we have winches in the front and winches in the back. There's something that I've done here that I've never done since, which is have a redundant motor or engine altogether. It's a small engine, and it has its own small propeller underneath. So that small red one, that's controlled by a totally backup engine in case the power systems fail. I did end up using it once in my game because I had an engine fire in the main room. Since then, I've never done this again, but it is interesting to note that this ship does have that. Then I have this one side door. If I'm boarding a ship that's in trouble, I could leave through there. Now, it's my first time walking through this vessel since I built it about 2 years ago, so I don't remember all the features and all the things, but I'm going to do my best to show you guys. And also, even this boat took like multiple iterations, including I added a bilge pump, which at one point, which it didn't have. So I was doing a mission and the whole main area flooded because a massive wave pushed water into here. So lessons learned, and it was kind of fun playing. So in here we have the main area, a little equipment, which you probably see on a lot of my vessels. I like to have a main door with equipment nearby for grabbing it on the go. Then here's the control area. We have some random things that I don't even know anymore. There's some microcontrollers I see down there. Then back here, this is about all my programming skills. Oh, interesting. It seems there's a breaker that's not working. But pretty much, let's go see what's going on here. So a lot of times I learned, oh, maybe the vet boat has to be on. handy. Let's see, if we start it up, and then can we operate this stuff? Okay, yes. Yes, so I was not very advanced in programming or anything, so there's really only 2 cameras and a map microcontroller that I added afterwards. And control the zoom, and there's a beacon locator here instead of up there for some reason. Wind speed, so random things that nowadays I never put anywhere, but that was kind of how I learned how to use this stuff. What do we have here? Backup engine starter. For some reason it's not on. Oh. I see, and it just gives throttle automatically. So that's the backup engine, and then we have all the lights here. As you can see, I didn't even have a lot of the so-called instrument panels or whatever it's called, so they're all just individual buttons. I did a brutal calculator of the time left that I have driving based on my battery power, and also there's no the clutch is independent in this version, so you have to manually turn up the clutch and the throttle, so I just did that. So here we are going at 55 something. I'm guessing that's kilometers an hour. At first I didn't use you didn't use knots, which I then learned to do instead. In fact, even now I can see that where's the RPMs, like even that's a bit high RPMs. I'd probably get a little lower if I was building this now by having a gear change, and you can see just how flimsy the whole thing turns. No stability, no active or passive controllers, but it works, so it goes. Oh, we do have another system. Jeez. Let's slow down here. Yeah, let's definitely slow down. And then it stalls out if you keep the engine powered down while the clutch powered on. Let's see. Oh, we still got power. Emergency beacon, backup engine throttle, I see. Here's the clutch. There's some emergency beacon. That's probably like a flare. Or, oh, that opens this thing. That shoots the flare, I'd imagine. What do we have? Foghorn. Interesting for a small ship like this. I did create a button here, or you could go up to the helm through here, which I actually do want to do at some point, where I have a internal and external area to drive. Yeah, there we go. So the clutch and steering can be operated from the top deck as well, which is nice. And then I added that door at one point as well because I had the bottom level flood entirely, and that was before I had bilge pumps, and I was unable to get into the vessel because the whole thing would have sunk. So I ended up driving the whole way back using this secondary helm. What else? Reverse, and I guess another flare. Yeah. Seating, I mean, I do like the seating for the survivors if I pluck them out of the water and put them here. This kind of array is neat. And yeah, there is the radar, which I added afterwards. And then down here, we have the sort of cabin. And most of you can probably recognize, even this floor, I kind of keep the red carpet consistent. And this blue color is what I ended up using for the UMA fleet and the research vessels that I do, but there's a little kitchen, a little computer here, I guess. Piping everywhere. Like, I wasn't very good at organizing anything. Microcontrollers randomly scattered about. And then here's the kind of 2 engines back here. I had to color code everything because I didn't even realize I had to learn how to connect everything. But this ship was able to get me to a point where I was able to play fairly actively and complete missions. But like, just let's test this out. Well, first of all, that back door will for sure sink us, so let's close that and try to drive this thing in the... Yeah, it's not very stable at all. I was able to... Oh, we're definitely gonna start getting water here. Close that. That's a bit better. So not very stable or very good. I did afterwards create a version of this with my stability control from the experience that I got when I did my other vessels, but I would obviously never go back to this, and even I didn't find it very useful to try to salvage this into a thing I could release. But it is interesting to see how far I've come. Maybe one day I'll make something based on it or kind of giving homage to it, but definitely this will never be released. This is just for me to laugh at this point. So there you have it. I mean, without going into more detail, which I don't really think there is much more to it. It's a quite a simple little vessel, but worked to get me into the game and worked to make me want to create more things. So thank you for sticking around. I will be showing more videos of other interesting things, including builds, tutorials, work in progress as upcoming things, and I will be working on the UMA diving academy this weekend, and hopefully can have that out maybe in a week or two. So stay tuned, everyone.